We're all living life and learning at the same time. So today we have a new slogan up: "Love, Life, Learn." And just want to go a little bit into the nitty and gritty of it. So I had to come up with a slogan for my channel, and in my opinion, I just think, you live in life. Why not learn at the same time? So that's pretty much what the channel is going to be about. It's going to be all about anything that is educational: stocks, trading, how to get a job at work, so that kind of stuff. But today, guys, I want to focus on day trading. So as you can see, I'm a little bit up over $100 on the day, trading TQs. And one thing that I want to mention is how I was able to get into this trade earlier today. So the market is very bullish right now. So as you can see, we opened up, we tested a previous support level, then we dipped down, and I didn't want to get into this position because what I've noticed last few days is that I was getting into my positions very early, and sometimes that would, for lack of better words, bite me in the rear. And so today I was being a little bit more patient. I waited until I saw a pattern form, and then I saw that it was forming a consolidation pattern right here between 158 and 160. So as I was seeing these little upticks, that's where I usually bought the dip, and I would usually sell one or two candlesticks up. So that's what I did today, and so that's pretty much how I made my money's worth today. I was trading about 100 to 200 shares, and right now, as you can see, we are making higher highs on TQs. So at this point, we really don't have a limit or a cap on how far this thing can go. But overall, as you can see, the market is pretty bullish today. But you always want to be a little bit conservative in your approach whenever you see higher highs like this. So what I like to do is I like to see where the supports are when it makes new highs. So right now I see that it is obeying the EMA line, this blue line right over here. And so if I wanted to, I may get into a trade right over here. But again, I want it to be clear, especially because we are approaching this previous high level here. This could act as a resistance. So what I would like for it to see is probably a nice pullback. Once we see that pullback form, then continue to uptrend. If we look at the 5-minute window, we can see that TQs is very overbought at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see a pullback testing this EMA line before we make new highs. One other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, how do you like the way I sound? So I actually got a new mic last week, and today's actually the first time that I'm using it. So if you guys couldn't tell, this is what my actual voice sounds like. All right. So I'm being a little bit conservative in my approach today, especially because I already locked in some profits. So I want to make sure that I see a pattern, that I recognize a pattern that I really like before I get in. One of the things that is important to us in trading is that when you make money, you're basically exchanging profits or money with other people who are trading as well. So you want to make sure that when you have some money, you don't want to just give it all away to someone else. So as you can see, we broke above the previous candlesticks here. It's a good sign, but it's very overbought, so I really don't want to get into this trade right now. Before, what we saw here in this pattern forming is that at no point did we reach that overbought level, so I felt very safe when I entered. And again, I saw this pattern form, so I knew where I wanted to buy and where I wanted to sell. But as you can see right now, we broke that pattern. We broke this uptrend over here. So now we are pretty much obeying the EMA as a support level. So if I were to get in, you would want to get in here, but you would want to have a very small stop loss. But there's just not that much excitement going on right now. Let's see what happens. MACD looks like it's ready for a pullback, so that's exactly what I'm gonna look out for. But guys, I mean, the market right now, it's very, very bullish, and it's very, in my opinion, I think it's very overbought. So when you see things like that, you want to be very conservative again with your approach, because you just never know when this thing's gonna pull back. So for instance, today, what I was waiting for when this thing came up all the way up to 160, I was waiting for this thing to tank down. When it tested it, 3 times, right? I was waiting for it to pull back down before I got in, because you want to get in on a good deal, right? You don't want to get in just to get in for the sake of it. So nice little candlestick formed there. Let's see. I'm gonna look at my other screen here just to see what's going on in the NQ's 5-minute window. So yep, we're very overbought on the 5-minute chart as well. So that's just kind of a recipe for disaster if I wanted to get into this trade right here. We are making higher highs, but you just want to be a little bit, again, conservative with your approach. We are up a little bit over 2% on the day, so it's pretty good. And have you guys taken a look at Tesla? So Tesla, the stock split actually went into effect today. So if any of you guys saw your accounts plummet, don't worry. It's not that the price went down overnight. It's just that what happens with the stock split is the stocks that are out in the market get divided up. That way, you have more stocks in the market, so more investors can purchase them at a lower price. And that's usually a good thing because it shows that the company is progressing, and it just tells you that there are a lot of buyers out there who want to get into the stock, but they can't because they don't have enough capital to do so. So if you guys actually caught the big uptrend here, congrats. But I would say again that Tesla is very overbought, and so personally I wouldn't trade it, but it has made people a lot of money. And so I can see why a lot of people want to go in. But for me, I just feel like it's an overhyped stock. So here we go. We have a pullback going on right here. Very big candlestick. So did you guys just see this? This candlestick literally covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, about 6. When you see something like that and it breaks this EMA line and it's overbought and the MACD is transitioning, that's when you want to sell out. And your 5-minute window is 5-minute chart is telling you to sell. That's when you want to sell out. So me personally, I'm glad I did not get into that trade over here. And so today, guys, I think I'm going to be streaming for maybe 20 minutes. Let's see if we have a nice buy situation set up for us to get in. If not, there will be other days. But I kind of wanted to share with you guys how I made over 100 today, what I was looking at, and what you guys should look for as well. One thing that I also want to share with you all is that whenever you're looking at supports and resistance, it's also very important to look at the previous candlesticks, because previous candlesticks also tell you a story. So for instance, as you can see, 1, 2, 3 candlesticks. This acted as a resistance, right? The high of this candlestick, 161.87, acted as a resistance where this went down, okay? This one opened a little bit up, but it did not close above the previous candlestick. And then we have this candlestick that's forming right now, and it's still not closing above the high of 161.87. And where the candlestick closes is very important. When I say close, I mean where the candlestick ends, as in where the solid part of the candlestick ends, because that will tell you if you're gonna run up or if you're gonna run down. And why does that mean that? Well, it's kind of more, it piggybacks off of psychology. So if this thing, and again, it also depends on where the candlestick is forming, because a candlestick by itself doesn't tell you anything, okay? You need to have some meaning behind it. But when it closes, when it's filled, right, above a previous candlestick, it tells you that a lot of buyers wanted it at that new price or at that high price. And then what happens after that is usually sometimes the candlestick that forms just spikes up because a lot of people are not done buying it, you know. Now, if you have wicks like over here at this high level, that tells you that there's a lot of sellers, and a lot of people don't believe that this thing's gonna go up. So this thing just formed, you see, at the 180, 160, 187. So we're basically consolidating in this area here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes down. Well, looks like we actually are going up. So overall, that's pretty much what I would look for, and kind of to give you some information about what to look for whenever you're analyzing patterns here. Overall, if you guys bought over here, congrats to you. You guys would have made, depending on your position, you guys would have earned $4 per share, which is really good, especially for a Monday. I mean, usually Mondays, what happens is we see a lot of we see high. We do see some uptrending on Mondays just because it's very bullish on that day. But we also like to see, or we also tend to see the candlesticks when they form. They form with some very large momentum. Oh, you see here we have a very big sell order going on. But if this thing rejects, looks like it's rejecting. See, this is a good example of where the candlestick might close that you want to look out for. So if I would have seen this, I would have sold this here. But the fact that this thing broke the previous tells you that this thing just has potential to move up. See, usually when you see something like this, the following candlestick that forms pushes down, but you're not seeing that here. So this could tell you that it still has potential to move up, right? As you can see here, we're not in the overbought territory anymore just yet. Looks like we are just consolidating in this area here, and the market is just waiting for a good opportunity to buy. So we might see this thing buy or go down all the way up to 47 on the RSI table, and then we see another uptrend. That's my guess, just because that's what we saw before happening. But I would say that we are in a position where it is time for us to see a big sell-off. And again, I wouldn't get into any of these trades because candlestick is just very, the size of them is just very small right now. Even if I wanted to scalp, I don't think it would be the best idea. And for those of you who don't know what scalping is, it's basically a trader who, when they get into a position, they sell right away in a matter of seconds. Literally, as soon as the candlestick shows a nice, a big, you know, if you're going long, when the candlestick, you know, goes from, you know, the size is very big. So right now we are seeing signs of a reversal. Yep. We closed below the CMA line, and then the next candle formed or opened a little bit above the previous close, but as you can see here, it looks like it's starting to go more towards the sell side. And again, something that you should look out for is, you know, is this something that happened before? Well, it didn't happen here, it didn't happen here. It did not break this EMA line. So that kind of tells you that, okay, this thing is going to continue to sell off. As you can see over here, what happened here? It broke the previous patterns, you know, it sold off a little bit more, didn't make higher highs, and then that's when it, you know, found a support at 159.88, went back up. And as you can see on the MACD, you can see how it formed its curvature here, and it continued to and it rallied once it hit the 46 to 47 mark. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again here. If we see this MACD form a nice curvature in the bottom, and then at 47 on the RSI continues to uptrend. And one thing to keep in mind as well is that if we're looking at the 5-minute chart, and pull it up on your screen, it looks like it definitely wants to test this EMA line as well. And that's when we'll see on the MACD that it's at the 47 level. But one thing to also keep in mind is this. Market opened at 9:30, right? At that exact time is when we started seeing this uptrend form, and it went from an oversold territory to overbought territory. So what does this tell you? This tells you that you have to be cautious, that we might start seeing a big downtrend forming. So we might not see higher highs from this point on. We might see pullbacks, test. That's something to keep in mind, and you want to make sure you catch those retests when it goes upwards. So you always want to think bigger picture here. So if I were to buy a position, I would probably buy it where it tests the EMA line, where on the 5-minute window, which was around here, but it looks like it continued to went up. But thinking bigger picture here, I just don't think it's the best thing to do. Let's see what this thing wants to do. How high do you guys think this thing's gonna go today, if it makes high highs at all? Oh, who's this? Joel Velez? Oh, there's Jerry. Jerry's here. Sign into chat.
He said to respond.
Oh, shout out to Jerry. My bad, Jerry. I just saw your comments. Hang on. Let me see if I can get the chat working here. Here it is. All right, here it is. Nice mic. Spotify market. Is there an app for this, Eric, or just website? It is, Eric. Yes, man. Thanks for the mic. I appreciate it. No, this is not Spotify market, Jerry. If you're asking what I'm trying to buy or what I'm trying to sell here, this is TQs. So this is a ETF. It's different than a stock. It's not a company. It's something else. And yeah, Jerry, it's just the website. It's just a channel. No app just yet. We don't have enough funds to create an app. Maybe one day we will, but not so much now. Jerry, do you have any questions of what I'm talking about? Just let me know, man. But I think I broke down pretty much what I was looking at today. One thing that you want to keep in mind again is it's not about, always getting into a position, meaning it's not about like, oh, I need to buy now. No, it's about waiting for that pattern to form. Once you see that pattern forming, then it's a probabilities game right now. So a probabilities game at that point on. So if you see that all your indicators are showing, that it's a good time to buy, it's a good deal, then that's when you want to get in. You recognize a pattern, you see that it's a good deal, like, all right, my risk to reward ratio is good. For example, I'm only going to risk $2, but I have the potential to gain $10, right? That's pretty much what happened on this point on over here. We saw this pattern formed. We saw on this MACD that it was at the lower level, and we saw that it continued to buy at this level over here. So why not enter the trade at this point on, right? And then I also drew this little trend line right here. So as you can see, this little uptrend, this little line here. I was like, perfect. It looks like it's following this pattern, this line over here. So I bought it. And then when I saw that it reached the top at this point over here where it tends to sell off, that's when I sold it. So that's pretty much how this thing works. You just have a lot of indicators. You try to recognize a pattern, and you try to see the bigger picture of what's going on. And that's pretty much, how it works. So right now we're seeing a sell-off here. So we're seeing TQ sell-off, as I mentioned before. It's going down. All right, so where am I buying? Well, let's see. I want it. Let me see. One second. I think. Yeah. I think if it tests 159, 160, that'll be good. But hold on. That's like the last major support level. So I wouldn't be surprised if people just try to buy in right there. Let me get a smaller position size. I wouldn't be surprised if there are other buyers who are waiting for this thing to go down, and then they just want, and then it just rises for a little bit because we need to see that little pullback happening. Test the EMA, and then I'll sell off there. But the thing about this position is, let me see, it's testing the SMA line on the 5 minute window, which is right around here. But we're not doing that. We're waiting for it to go more down. Okay. So now, hang on. The thing about this is that the SMA line is over here, so I'm not sure if it's going to want to test this line out or this line out. Let's see. All right. Getting ready to get into position. I'm trying to see that uptrend happening. Not yet. Not yet. I wanted to test. Not yet. All right, now I want to see if it breaks through that line. If it breaks through that line, then I'm waiting for it to test the orange line, the SMA line. Okay, there you go. It broke it. So I think it may test this SMA line right over here. It's very oversold, which is a good time to buy if you see value in it. Looks like it's going up. Yep, I'm buying in there. I'm getting ready to sell right away because I want to see it test that blue line. So right now, hold on. Hopefully this thing goes up. Oh, look, it opened above. Okay, it might continue to go up. A lot of volume there. It might continue. Looks like it's trying to push up. Yep, it's pushing up. All right. So I want to test it over here. Once it reaches that blue line, that's where I want to sell. There you go, selling. Jerry, are you seeing this? Getting ready to sell soon. Getting ready to sell. Hopefully it pushes up. All right. For some reason, I saw that it looked like it wanted to continue to sell off, so I just locked in the profits there. Wasn't too much of a gain, like 20 bucks. But just because I saw that it didn't want to continue to go up over here. So you see it selling off, right? It's better to save that 20 bucks than lose it. Let's see what the chat is saying. What's going on, chat? Hey, chat. Anything else, chat? So if I put in $400 and it gained 5 times, does that mean I get 2,000? Well, no, Jerry. So each stock. So for instance, this thing is $160, right? So if you bought 400 of that, you don't have enough money to buy 400 times 160, right? So what I'm buying, I buy 100 shares of this, which amounts to like $25,000 in a sense. I have that. I'm able to. So basically, if it goes up by $1, I make, $100 because I put in 100 times that amount. You know what I'm saying? So if I buy 1 share and it goes up by $1, then I only make $1. If I buy 2 shares, then I have to put in 2 times 160, which is 320, and I only make $2, right? So the way this works is you have to put in, put in a fair amount of dollars so that it multiplies. But it's a good thing you logged in right now, Jerry, because you saw what I was thinking. You saw my thought process behind this, and you can see like I sold it right over here at 160. It did not want to hit the blue line, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna lock it in because this thing can continue to go down. What did I say? As soon as it tests this line, a lot of people are gonna want to go in and push it up, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna continue to go up because this thing has momentum to go down. and that's what's happening right now. So what we do what we do when we see this is, okay, it did its move, right? It went down. We made whatever we made, so now we want to reassess. You know what we're gonna do, our technique, our tactic. So this thing's continuing to push down, and it may again test this orange SMA line right over here, like I mentioned before. Test it here, then it wants to probably test here. So let me put in order just in case. What I want to see is this thing bounce, you know, like show me that it doesn't want to continue to go down. If it doesn't show me that it wants to continue to go down, then that's good. That usually means that the next candlestick that forms, it's gonna go up, and then you know you could risk just a few cents, maybe 10 cents, but you can make 30 cents. If this thing's continuing to go down, so it's telling me that this thing still wants to go down. It's not done going down. So let's see where now what you do in the situation is you say to yourself, all right, where is the next zone of support? Meaning, where do I think a lot of buyers are going to come in to push this up? And it looks like this thing is going to continue to do maybe what we said before, rally up to the blue line, but it's not going to continue to go up. It's just going to continue to go down. I don't want to buy right now. Right now it's like floating. Like this price is floating. Like I have no idea. Like there is no support level here. There is no buyers here. So, it's like saying bidders, right? There's no bidders. It's like there's no people around you who want to buy it at this point. That's why I'm not buying right now. But at this line, the support level right here, I'm looking at it. A lot of people are looking at it. So the probabilities of this thing pushing up when it reaches this line is high. So I'm waiting for that thing to come down. You got to be patient in this game. Now it is on the oversold side. So who knows? It might push up just a little bit. Doesn't mean that after that it's going to continue to go up. It was just very overbought. So. All right, so it looks like it's going up, but I'm betting that it's going to continue to go down. I want to get it at here. At 157 is where I want to get it in. Right now it's too late if I wanted to, right now my risk to reward ratio is bad. So I wouldn't get in now here because, look, you see this little margin right here, this to here? It's like 20 cents, but if it goes sideways, if it goes the opposite, you're gonna risk like 78, 37. That's like 50 cents there. It's like that's like a 2 to 5, 1 to 2. Risk to reward, no. Risk is 5, reward is 2. It's like a 5 to 2 ratio. That's not good. You want the opposite. So you got $20 just now. Yeah, I got $20 just now, because I put in I bought 100 shares, right? And it only jumped from 79 cents to like maybe, I don't know, 0.32 cents, maybe 50 cents. So 50 cents, let me see. I put in 100 shares and it only went up by 50 cents, which means, well, maybe less than 50 cents, 30 cents. So that's why, I only got $20 from that, because I sold early and you didn't see it jump that high. Now, if it would have made a $1 jump, then I would have, made $100 because I went in with 100 shares. So yeah, that's pretty much, if that answers your question, Cherryberry. So this thing made a nice little jump from 157.93 to over here, 159.92. That would have been a nice, look at that, 63. Let me see, this is 158.63 to 159.9. That's like over $1 right here. So if I was to get in here and it went up by $1, that would have been easily $100 right there. But again, like I mentioned before, I didn't want to get in because it's like floating in water right now. I have no idea who's gonna save it. You know, there's no boats around it to save this guy who's sinking. Think about it that way. So I expect this thing to hopefully go down. But there's something interesting going on. Something interesting going on here, actually. If this thing does not test this level over here, then it wouldn't be a bad idea to buy it, simply because on the 5-minute window, you can see that it was testing this, sort of testing this level here, and it pulled up. And you can see what did we mention before, where the candlestick closes, right? The candlestick, you know, the price dropped all the way down here, but buyers came in, they bought it, and it rose up. And what happened? See this little candlestick? See how it formed above this little purple line here? It tells you that a lot of people wanted to sell it, but people came in and bought it, and it pushed the price up so that it stayed above this line here. And these 3 lines, this is an indicator here. So this is a VWAP indicator. And what happens is when price is above the middle and the top one, it tends to go up. And when price is, you know, selling between the middle and lower one, then you start to see it go down. So, you know, this was a nice little thing that formed here. But we have to see again where the next candlestick forms. So look over here, for example. It's between the middle one and the lower one, the lower bands. Went down. Then it rallied up, started trading above the middle one, went up. So as you can see, big picture here, we see that the curvature went from, you know, high greens to forming lower reds, which tells us that this thing has potential to continue going down, like I mentioned before, when we were looking at it over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was just like a little retest, but it continues to go down. And then when it tests this region over here, might be a good time for, you know, us to buy. So collaboration of Christian Trades video coming soon. Give the fans what they want. Not bad, Christian Trades. We should get you in this. We should have you here. Actually, that'd be pretty dope to have. To have you here and have you share some of your insider information. We can go back and forth on our assessments and analysis, and then our disagreements and agreements. All right, so you see what's going on? This thing is selling down, and that's what I want to see, yo. Whenever I see a nice little push down, and if I was to see that happening right over here, I would definitely buy. I would feel super comfortable buying it over here, because one of the things that I've noticed is that the same, how do you say, what goes up must come down, right? And what goes down must come up. So the harder something, or how does it go? The harder something falls, the bigger you are, the harder it falls, right? There you go. So the bigger the candlestick falls, in my view, what I've noticed is the bigger it tends to rise up. So if I was to see a candlestick just plummet down here, I would buy it over here. So what are we seeing right now? Let me see. It looks like it's done making lower lows. It looks like it doesn't want to go lower than this. Let me see. I wish it would go lower than that. I want it to go lower than that. But you can see the band over here. It looks like it's time to go upwards, right? It was oversold. Looks like now it's time to go up. I personally just would have liked it better if this happened at this level over here. That leads me to believe, what did I miss anything before that led the price to kind of form in this region? Let me see. The only thing I'm noticing. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to see if I missed a support level, meaning if I missed an area where a lot of buyers are in, because you know how I said before it was floating in water. So I'm just trying to see, did I miss anything? I see some little peaks over here, peak over here. And if you form a line through it, you could kind of see that, oh wow, this thing's just rising up now. Like I actually made a line through it before, but I didn't extend it. All right, so right around here. Oh, I didn't form. Oh, looks like it's rising up, man. It's pushing up. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it rallied here, but you see, it's already starting to uptrend. So I like that. As I mentioned before, try to push up. I like that, but I don't want to buy just yet. I want to see it test a little bit before here. It tested it twice. Went down, went up, went down. It did not want to continue to go down, so it goes up. I want to see it pull back just a little bit. And you can see why this thing pushed up real quick. It went up, right? It went down. It didn't want to go down anymore. And once it broke this candlestick over here, that's when it went up. Psh, shot up. And at that point, that can tell you that this thing's going to continue to go up. So your indicators show you that this thing has potential to go up. Might test previous highs, 161. But let's see. Yeah, I would have loved it if this thing formed at this level over here, at this zone. But I don't see why it would have formed there anyways. But you know, these are things that you want to look at, and if you end up buying at the right time, then it's gonna work out really well for you. In this case, it didn't meet my expectations, so I didn't buy in. But had I bought in, if it would have reached this level here, I would have been able to, you know, make a nice solid dollar at this point over here. Sold off, probably bought a little bit more when I saw this happening. So right now, I would love to go in just because I see that this thing can test. Like if I was to lose some money, it's this region here versus this high region here. But I want to see it go down a little bit more. Looks like right now it's testing. Let me see. Let me see. You want to also think bigger picture here though, guys. If you see the 5-minute window, what did I say before? It looks like it's going up, for sure it's going up. But bigger picture here is that the overall trend is downwards. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, this thing tests this region, which is where it's at right now, and it continues to sell. So that's why I don't want to get in. If I would have gotten in here, perfect. But now it's at a risky area, risky zone. So it's not a good time to buy right now. And if it goes, you know, it goes against what I expected, you know, it's great. It tells you that it's about to reverse. But I feel like I missed the ship. The ship has sailed. It's just a patience game, you know. Do you use Robinhood? So cherryberry. I used to use Robinhood 2 years ago. That's what I first started using when I got into trading. Robinhood is good for people who just want to test the waters out and kind of know what trading is all about, right? Like similar to the questions that you asked me before, like the trial and error. Like what happens if I put, you know, $2? Like how much am I gonna get back? What happens if I put $3? You know, that's what I used Robinhood in the beginning. And I kind of tested out. I was like, oh, okay, so if I put this amount, I get this amount back. So that's kind of what I used Robinhood in the beginning for, just to test it out and kind of like just recognize patterns, like, you know, like, oh, I see that it's always doing this pattern. Like Like I can see why people make money, right? So like recognizing patterns, that's kind of what Robinhood taught me, but I don't use it anymore. Why? Because Robinhood, all you're gonna see with Robinhood is you're gonna see this. You're just gonna see the chart. You're just gonna see all these lines, but it's not gonna give you all the information you want. So it's not gonna give you these indicators like, RSI, this MACD indicator. You're not gonna be able to see, all these lines. So Robinhood might be good if you want to just execute a trade, meaning if you have this platform at home that I'm using, Thinkorswim at home, but you want to actually buy and sell it, with your phone. So it's like you have some prior knowledge and you're like, all right, if I see this thing go down to this amount of money, to this price, then you could Robinhood to buy it. But I wouldn't use it, I wouldn't use it for day trading per se. Maybe if you want a swing trade, which is where you buy something and then you just let it sail. You just let it go up for like a week, and then you sell it. You don't worry about it. But that's pretty much what I use Robinhood for. I also just use it just to look at, like if I'm outside, I just want to see like, oh, like how much is. I wonder how much TQs, which is what I'm selling right now. I wonder how much it made, right? So I could be like, oh, good thing I didn't buy, or oh, good thing I didn't sell. But Robinhood, I think, is just good if you want to just kind of get your feet wet. But not for day trading, not for trading every day. Because, again, you need to have this big screen in front of you and this other screen next to you so you can have a reference, so you can have more information. Apart from that, I don't use it anymore. Again, I just use it just to see what other companies are up to put it in shorter terms. But I saw Joel start getting into it, use Robinhood, so I think it would be nice if he tuned in. Yeah, let me actually hold on. Let me send it to him on the fake chat.
He's not there.
He's on the fake chat?
No.
He left?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Why? You got mad?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
He probably just got bored.
You guys can hear that's my business partner, Justin Robles. He's an up-and-coming day trader. This guy knows what he's doing. Just kidding, guys.
That's his name?
No, I said just kidding, guys. Business partner and associate. All right, so what's going on over here? We're still being patient, right? We're still being patient. We're just looking to see if there's any other patterns that form, or if we see anything that we like. So we're assessing the situation. We're seeing what it's doing. Again, man, I wish this thing would have sold off over here. Would have been nice. Look at this nice return. If you would have bought here at 159, and if you would have sold here at 160 and 57 cents, that's $1.50 profit. Now, if you multiply that by 100, assuming you got in with 100 shares, it would have been $150 right there from here to here. But again, I didn't like it because it didn't go all the way down. I'm not sure why I tested this region here. I'm guessing just because they saw this indicator and they're like, it's oversold, let's buy it here. Cherry's like up and coming Fortnite player. All right. So one other thing I want to mention is that you can never force a trade, right? You cannot tell the market or the chart what to do. You kind of have to react with what the market tells you, meaning you can only take a trade based off of what the market gives you, like you can't make something happen, right? If the opportunity is presented to you, that's when you take in a position. If you recognize a pattern, then you plan accordingly. And if the market gives that to you, meaning if it if it does what you expect it to do, meaning the chart, you know, you're like, okay, I want it to go down here, right? Like I said, I was gonna buy it if it went down here, and I only wanted to buy it if this thing sold off really hard. If that would have happened, then the market gave me what I wanted, and that's when I would have gotten in. But it didn't, so I didn't go in. I didn't take in the trade. So you can only do things like that. Now there are times when, again, it doesn't always go according to plan, and you just have to, you're just like, all right, this thing just wants to, it's acting weird right now, right? There are times when that happens. It wants to be weird, and then you just take a position. You're like, all right, I see that this thing is doing this little pattern here, so I'm just gonna buy in right now. And that's when you want to make sure you set your stop loss, meaning the price at which the final price that the stock can go down before it executes the trade. That way you minimize the amount of money that you lose. So those are some things, scenarios that do happen. Just make sure you're aware of that and just plan accordingly. Let's see. But yo, Cherry Berry, just to give you a little bit more of information here, and like just to kind of paint a picture as to what, like how much, like what good potential, well, like the potential of trading, and the returns that you can get is, if you were to look at the 180-day chart, right? Meaning this is how the stock or how the market for TQs, which is what I'm trading, how it performed in the last 180 days of the year or whatever. And as you can see, at this point over here, the lowest level, that's happened in March 16th. That's when the whole pandemic situation happened, and people started panicking, and people were like taking money out of their investments. And so the price for this thing went down. As you can see, it went all the way down to the low as $31. Now, I wasn't trading at the time, but people who are experienced, if they would have bought in like 100 shares, right, at this point here, and this is more for like for investors, people who buy and hold on to it for a long period of time. If they were to buy here when it was at $31, like look where it's at now, 160. So this was just growing in your bank account. It went up by 130 bucks. Let's just say you would have bought 100 shares. So 130 bucks times 100. How much is that? It's like what, 13,000? Like you could have made $13,000 if you would have bought just 100 shares here and then just let it rip until now. But it's not that easy, No one knew that this at this point was when it was gonna stop going down. But it just goes to show that usually when you have a big sell-off, especially when like something crazy hits the market or the economy, these are things that people look at. They're like, all right, let me see how far this thing's gonna go so I can buy, because there's a lot of potential. Same thing like the recession in 2008, the stock market. I mean, not the stock market, the Great Recession or whatever. A lot of people bought houses when they were cheap, and now the price went up. So, houses that foreclosed. The stock market works the same way. It's all economics. So that's just kind of to give you another analogy. There is money to be made. You just need to know how to execute it and how to prepare for it, and you should be good. But yeah, so right now it looks like it's obeying this EMA line over here. Man, would have been nice to get in, but it's reaching a resistance at this level here. Let's see something. Trying to see. Let me see something. I'm just doing something on the side here, just trying to check something. Okay. So typically in days where, the stock market is also similar to like work. Sometimes you have a fast day or a slow day. It's not, every day is not gonna give you the same, the market's not gonna behave the same way every day. That's just the way it works. So what does that mean? Oh snap, did I close this? Oh no. 1 second. All right. It's not going to behave the same way every day. So right now, as you can see, in the morning, usually the mornings is when the market is very volatile, meaning that's when it goes up by a lot and very quickly, and that's when it goes down by a lot. The size, you see the size very quickly. So as you can see here, when it reached 159, it just sold off. Like people were like, that's it. I'm selling this thing. And the reason the price goes down is because people sell for a lower price. So let's just say this thing is worth 160, right? But people are like, nah, I gotta get out of here. Like I gotta sell it at 159. Otherwise, no one's gonna buy it at 160. So that's why this thing goes down. People sell for less than what it's worth, and this thing just goes down. In the mornings, you see that a lot. You see this thing jump really high. So if you get in at a good time, you can literally see this thing go up by like $1 in like a matter of seconds. So if you bought 100 shares, you could literally make $100 in like a second. But there's not really a pattern, so it's not clear. So in the morning, it's very hard to predict. So last week, I did have a situation where I thought this was gonna push up, but in fact, it went the opposite. So I ended up losing like $200 the day, but I ended up recovering it. So I just made like $0 that day or $17. But what happened was, like, it was $200 that I lost in a matter of seconds, but then I actually ended up making it back. So imagine had I not taken that trade, I would have made $200, if I was more patient. So today, that's kind of what I did. I was patient. I was like, nope, I'm not buying. I'm waiting to see a nice little pattern form before I get in, and that's what I did. And so instead of me chasing, and trying to make money back that I lost, I just didn't take a position. Sometimes the best position is the one that you don't take, and that's pretty much like what I did here. I saw that this thing didn't do what I wanted it to do, and so I didn't go in, because otherwise I would be going in. It's like going into a fight without it's like going camping without water or something like that. Exactly. Like, what are you gonna drink? In the middle of nowhere, you're in the middle of a desert without water. That's pretty much what it is. You don't want that. You want to have a plan. So I saw this, I had a plan, and I executed it. And thankfully enough, I made a little over $100, 131 to be exact today. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. So right now it looks like it's really slow. You can see these little candlesticks. Candlesticks again are a representation of how the price behaves. These little green and red lines. So right now it's very slow. It's like this is my 1 minute chart, as you can see here. So each candlestick is how the price behaves in 1 minute. So it's very slow. You see, it's not going up really fast. So it's not like if I was to take a trade, I'll make $100 right away. No, it's really slow. So it takes a while for instance, for this thing to come back down where I want to buy it, right? It takes a while for that to happen, and that's why it's slow, because you want to execute trades that are according to your plan. And when you see price take a while, to form, or they're forming, but they're very small, then, that's going to take a long time for it to do what you want it to do. So this is a slow day right now. And usually slow days happen around lunchtime. So right now it's like 11:55, it's close to 12. That's like lunchtime. And people usually don't, the market is usually slow around this time. Markets are really fast in the mornings from 9:30 to 11, Eastern time, 11:30 sometimes, like it was before. But then it slows down and it picks back up after like 2 o'clock. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing is goes back down at like 2 p.m. So who knows? This would have been like the last major action that we've seen before, you know, we see another thing pick up for like another hour. But there's one other thing I want to mention. This is also critical. So I mentioned before that I wasn't trading a stock. This is an ETF, which is a little different than a stock. A stock is, again, like a contract that you own. You own a piece of the company. It's like a deed to a house. You own a deed to a house, but you know there are multiple owners to the house. That's what a stock is. So for TQs, it's a little different. TQs, they also has an inverse. What does that mean? Meaning there's also another publicly traded ETF that does the opposite of, you know, the what the other thing does. So look at this guy. This guy did the opposite of what I was trading. It went down. Now the good thing about ETFs is that whenever something goes up and you think it's gonna go down, if you go to the inverse of that, what do you think is gonna happen? This thing's going down, and I think it's gonna go up. So you can kind of, if you want to, you know, look at it in an ideal way, you can kind of always make money. You can always make money because when one thing's going up, you know, you're trading that. But once it goes down, you're not gonna want to trade it, right? Because, like for instance, me, I don't want to trade it right now. I think it's gonna go down. The other one that we were just looking at, this one right here. Like, I don't want to buy right now. What did I tell you before? I said this thing is gonna go up, but it might come back down, right? Bigger picture. So right over here, I think that this thing is gonna go up. So if I wanted to take a position here, I could. Now, do I want to? I could, but I just have a bad rap with this SQs here. Just because the price just moves very, very slow. And you need a lot more shares to make like money off of this. Just because the price, like look at the low. It was 21.27, and it only went up by like 20 cents. Like that's as high as it'll go. That's as much as it'll go. It doesn't go up by $1. So I would have to buy like 500 shares of this, right? In order to see some real potential. You know, let me take a position here because again I said that I like how the other one looked. So just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And I want to sell it off at 56. So let's see. The only reason I'm a little skeptical is because TQs is just very bullish. This thing just likes to go up all the time. And so that's why I'm a little skeptical to get a position because I just feel like did I take one? All right, I'll get in. And I'm gonna sell off. Let me see if this thing breaks through 21.42. I'll sell off. But I want to sell. Hopefully, it goes up to 21.56. I'm hoping it goes there. That's where I really want to sell off. So once it gets to this orange line, that's where I'm content. But if it breaks below this blue line here, that's where I don't want to, you know. That's where I'm like, nope. I'm gonna take my money back. So I'm gonna make sure I have everything ready. And I only bought 500 shares, so I really don't know how much return I'll get on that. If it goes up even by like 5 cents, I have no idea. That's just because I just want to show it to you to prove a point. So if it goes up by like what, 10 cents? 10 cents times 500. I'm not sure how much that is. Let me see. It's like 50 bucks. All right. So if it goes up to 21.56, that'd be great. I'll make 50 bucks. But if it goes down below 21.40, I'll just lose like maybe $10, right? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna set my stop loss. So if this thing goes below 21.40, I want this thing to sell right away. So leave it right there. So this is like my this is like my defense right here. This guy right here. This thing goes below this, I'm selling. So, and why did I buy right now, you may ask? Again, my risk to reward is really good. I see this pattern forming. I see that this thing is trying to go up because what I mentioned before, big picture. The other one was going to go down, which means this thing's going to want to go up. So, look, see, it's pushing up. Great. And I'm only going to risk like $20, but I have the potential to make $50. So that's why I'm buying in there. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to stay in there until it reaches there. I see that this thing is trying to go up. All right, so how much? $15, right? I made $15 so far. What? Why did this thing? Why did this thing break my zone? All right, so again, I risked the $20 there. I guess I should have sold off and reached the top here. That's okay, not a bad thing. But you can see why I don't like SQs. It's just it's not my flavor. I was trying to sell at the top, but for some reason I got stopped out. All right, but you can see here, this thing wants to push up. So I could actually buy. Let me see. 44, 30 cents. I want to see it test the CMA first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looks like there's a big resistance here. Overall, the market direction looks like it may. It looks like it's going on the upside now. But yeah, guys, I think you guys saw a pretty good play before I broke this down for you. I'm gonna just continue to be patient and see what this thing wants to do. It looks like it's definitely testing this EMA here. And let's see where it closes. Mm-hmm. I feel like it could push upwards, but it's a little hard to tell because it's just a really strong resistance here. I could, if I were to get in, I would want to sell it at 43. That's the thing. Let's adjust this accordingly. It looks like it's definitely consolidating in this region here. I do see some potential to push back up, but I wanna see it go down just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna get in there. All right, so I see this thing pushing up. I like it. Might go up to 90. Selling my position there because I just don't want to see that thing pull back down really hard. I want to see it test again this EMA before I take another position in. I want to make sure once you make some money, you want to make sure that you secure it as much as possible. So I want to see this nice little pullback here at 161.25. I'll be comfortable purchasing more shares. But I see the potential for this thing to go back up to 98. I'm going to go hard.
Whoa.
If I see this thing go test this zone right over here. One thing that I like is when I see something uptrend and looks like it's gonna test the previous high. I like to get in because I just feel like it's inevitable at that point that it's gonna go high. Not yet. Don't be greedy. Just wait until it does what you want it to do. Test this region here. Look at that. If I would have gone in, risk 20 cents times 200 is not good. All right, let's see, continue push down. All right, so I'm selling soon. Hopefully this thing doesn't give me something crazy. Can I go up to 60? Can I go up to 70? I saw that this thing wanted to didn't want to go up right away, so I sold. Looks like it might test this lower band soon. So let's want to test it. Let's add more. And again, the only reason I'm entering this trade is because I was in the SQs, the inverse, and I saw that this thing just didn't want to continue to go up. So when I see that, that's a sign that I should get in the other trade. Slowly but surely, this thing looks like it wants to push up. And in the 5-minute window, it looks like that's exactly what it's doing. It looks like it's transitioning over to the uptrend, curving upwards. So that could be a good thing. I like this. Testing the EMA line. It's a good zone. If it breaks below, hopefully this thing goes up. I'm only risking a little bit of my size here. 42. If it goes up to 60, that'll be great. And if I see it doesn't want to go up, then I'm selling. Doesn't want to go up. Oh, it went up there. I don't think it's a good opportunity. I'm gonna cut my losses soon. Oh, it's going up. All right, looks like it's pushing up. Hopefully it continues. All right, I didn't make anything there. Might push up now though. Might not. But I ended at a net zero, so it's okay. Just in case I see this thing push up. All right, so that's pretty much what I'm looking at, guys. I think I'm gonna end the stream now. I feel like I've been going on for over an hour, more than I anticipated. So hope you guys learned something. I broke it down for you guys. If you have any other questions, just feel free to leave a like, comment below, subscribe, especially to my YouTube, to my Instagram page, and let me know how I can improve the channel.